Okay. Sorry, I've actually been busy writing and doing some important magnetism experiments today. This is actually an important video. I'm going to tell you why it's important and explain it. I didn't really want to reveal this information until I posted it in the 4th edition of my book. But I've been waiting 4 years, actually over 4 years, for something to appear. And I have an opportunity to get a few of these, and if you could send me an email or contact me. I need these two pyramidal, actually I need 4 for a Hallback array, but 2 is more than enough, unfortunately. I'll send you to the website if you can contact me. Unfortunately, these little pyramidal magnets are 150 bucks a pop, and I'll tell you why they're so incredibly important here in a second. You'll be shocked and amazed. It's actually very, very simple, but there's actually only less than a handful of people on Earth that know anything about magnetism or what it actually means to have a multiplicative point source of a magnetic field. And I'm going to explain that to you here right after I get done making this request. I need to use PayPal to purchase these magnets. It's in a place in the United States. If you could either contact me and have these magnets sent to me. I've been waiting for over 4 years to get these. Now, I obviously could make like a special order since, China will make any sort of a neodymium iron boron magnet, but you'd have to order hundreds and hundreds of them, and it would be an astronomically expensive endeavor. So it's a total of, with the shipping and everything, $350. If afterwards you want me to give you one of these magnets, I really do need to keep both. I actually need 4 for a special Hallback array. And I'm about to tell you why they're so incredibly important. They're actually 2 by 2 at the base, and they taper to just under an inch, and you actually use a wedge to drop a 1 inch that tapers to 4 millimeters square. And at the top there is a field strength of right just under 1 Tesla, meaning incredibly, incredibly powerful. I'm actually, I feel guilty doing this. I've got like $35 in my PayPal. I actually am begging for these magnets, and if I could do something special for you in your return, like, put your name in the 4th edition of my book or something. I am serious. I'm actually begging for these magnets. I don't want money. If you could order these magnets for me and contact me, I can do a screen grab of what they are and how much they cost. I'm literally begging. Yeah, I don't feel guilty. My book is free. I spend an enormous amount of time, writing articles and books and talking to people on the phone and answering emails. So I actually don't feel guilty about begging for something that I've been waiting over 4 years to get my hands on, and they are these pyramidal magnets. Now I'm going to tell you why they're so incredibly important. They're 2 inches at the base. Now this one's a 2 inch by 2 inch by 1 inch. I'm trying not to get it close to my computer. It tapers to just at 1 inch, and then you drop another magnet. Since you actually can't magnetize too thick of a piece of neodymium magnets, you actually have to add them in pieces, kind of like stacking Legos, to make a true pyramidal magnet. Now, here's a fact, okay? This is measurable by Gauss meter. There are literally like a very, very tiny handful, like less than a half a dozen people that know about this, and that have experimented with it for medical experiments and like magnetic activation of a miniature pill and some other really boring stuff. But you and I and everybody else has heard the term pyramid power before, and I hate New Age crap, okay? All pyramid power is BS and crap, but there is one thing that is empirically and absolutely undeniable real when we're talking about pyramid power, and it doesn't mean pyramid power, is actually when you taper a magnet to a very fine point, it acts as a magnetic constrictor. Kind of like the same way, and I'm going to explain this to you very simply. I'm going to tell you why it's so incredibly important. I'm literally jumping like I've had 10 cups of coffee. I have to get these pyramidal magnets. I've got a list of nearly 40 experiments, and 10 of them are incredibly important that I need because I've been waiting 4 years for these magnets. Like, I forgot there's metal underneath this table. Say, for example, 3 gallons a minute through a tube is nothing, right? But like a fireman's hose actually tapers to a point. So like when a fireman turns on the hose and they get, I forget how many gallons per minute it is, per second, excuse me, how many gallons per second it is, but when you taper it to a fine point, you get enormous pressure, and like a fireman could shoot water up to like, what, the 5th or 6th story of a building. And I'm trying to think of countless other things that are like this. What it is a multiplicative, it's like a field laser. Now, of course, a laser is a field perturbation itself. Most people think, and what actually defines a laser is not coherent radiation. That's actually an attribute of a laser. I grew up messing with lasers. This is really important. Most people don't realize that there are focusing lenses at the emission point of all lasers. LEDs, helium neon, all those lasers have focusing lenses on them. But what actually defines a laser is point source emission, and I've talked endlessly about this. Is not my opinion, it's a fact. But what actually makes a laser incredibly powerful, that with using 2 AAA batteries, you can put out 5 watts, not AAA but AA, you can put out 5 watts of power, not for very long, it'll suck the batteries dry. I mean, it'll burn you. What we're talking about is a multiplicative of point source. In the instance of the laser, before the lenses are added, you actually have point source emission. But what the lenses do on a laser is they actually focus that. Okay, I know all about light coherency and stuff like that, but what actually makes a laser incredibly powerful with low power input, it is a multiplicative point source. First point source being the laser. Okay, depending on the type of laser it is, it's point source emission. The second point source is the condensation. What actually makes giant multi-million dollar land-based or even space-based telescopes so incredible? They take all of that light and they bring it to one point. Okay, what actually defines a laser? I mean, before this magnet actually becomes a magnet, it is nothing other than a useless piece of neodymium iron boron ceramic. Once it is magnetized, you actually have point source emission. What actually defines and why it's so incredibly important? It's literally like a magnetism scalpel. I'm trying to make a really, really crude analogy of why these pyramidal magnets are so incredibly important. If you actually take a Gauss meter and place on the tip of these ones, they're actually nickel-plated neodymium iron boron, but you actually have to put them together using wooden wedges, or I could use magazines or whatever, is that they're right underneath a Tesla in power, incredibly powerful, right at the tip. Now the field depth is very shallow, but they're incredibly powerful. I actually have to want to do some very important experiments, not only with biological stuff. Seeds is one thing I'm going to mention, but I'm not going to mention the other things. I don't want to give people hints, but also melanoma skin cancer. I actually need 4 of these arrays, one with a South Pole tip and one with a North Pole tip. But I'm actually begging. 5,300 videos, I've begged for donations before, but I mean this. I really do seriously need these magnets. I don't need the money. I don't want the money. I don't actually have, like I said, like $36 in PayPal. I need to buy these magnets. My book is free. I don't feel guilty about asking for this. If you hate this video, you downvote it, I don't know what to tell you, but email me or, help me to acquire these magnets. I'm desperate to get them before they're all gone, and there's only a few left. And it's like, well, why not? Why don't they just order more? It's actually a really complicated answer to that. The person that actually sells these, he has connections in China, and he himself is insanely rich, and he doesn't really give a damn about money. I hate to say that. I'm not putting the guy down. He's incredibly intelligent. But he doesn't really give a damn about money, and I can't order them, obviously, because I would have to order hundreds at a time, and that would cost an astronomical amount of money. I literally have nearly 40 experiments that I've been waiting over 4 years, well over 4 years actually, to get these, and there's only one source for them. It was ridiculous. I even talked to K&J Magnetics. This is a fact. If you don't believe me, you can call K&J Magnetics. I said to them, so they have some huge, powerful magnets. I was like, why on earth don't you make these, order these? And they don't make them. They're ordered from China. You place an order for X number of hundreds, and you make a deposit, I guess. So he said his answer, even though they carry some monster dangerous magnets, is they were too worried about liability. In other words, having their ass suit off, because they're so incredibly powerful and dangerous. They make this dangerous little 2x2 by 1 inch magnet And this one, if you get your fingers caught between steel, it'll dig right into your fingers. It'll just about clip your fingers off. Way, way more powerful than this is. Imagine a super, 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 super powerful magnet that its incredibly intense field is at a point, like if I had the point in my hand facing down like this, and I got my hands near a piece of steel, it would act like a let me repeat this very, very closely. It would act like a self-propelling dagger through my hand. Imagine holding a knife at the tip, okay? Let me put this, there we go. Imagine holding a knife at the tip, okay? And, you know, someone could stab a knife through your hand. Imagine holding it at the tip and you carelessly, like, put your hand with some metal underneath it. And imagine the knife self-propelling its way through your skin right because it's so powerful. That's the danger with it. That is, you can call K&J Magnetics if you don't believe me. I asked them that today when I said, you know, I just found these. Why don't you guys make these? Because I put an advertisement for K&J Magnetics in the second page of my book, Uncovering the Missing Secrets of Magnetism, which I'm working on the 4th edition. The book is free. But anyway, I'm begging to get these magnets. I'm begging for any help or just get me the magnets. I do mean this, and I don't feel sorry about asking for this because 10 of these experiments, I told you one on the melanoma skin cancer and arresting it. But there's some very important experiments that I absolutely must have these for. And given what I actually know about magnetism and the nature of these magnets, there's nobody else out there. You talk to any physicist, I guarantee you this, talk to a PhD physicist, like some old graybeard dude, 30 years, PhD physicist. What is the importance, you know, how is it unique? A pyramidal shaped magnet where the magnetic field, they don't know. They have no idea at all. It is a multiplicative point source. In one case, obviously, as I said, the magnet is a point source. Secondly, it is focused, just like a laser is focused with a confocal lens arrangement at the end. Okay? All lasers have that freaking lens, or multiple lenses, depending on if it's like an adjustable laser, if it's like a fixed laser. Like the cheap ones don't have adjustments, obviously. It's just a fixed focusing. They don't know. That's why there's, like I said, like 5 people that are experimenting with multiplicative focused magnetism. And its possibilities are astronomically high. That is why I've been killing myself for years trying to get a hold of these. The guy that actually had them before, I'm not going to tell you his name. I will if you contact me. He's like, I still got a couple of these left. And I said, well, can I buy? He's really, really rich. He just doesn't care. You know, I've talked to him more than a few times. He's a nice guy. But, you know, can I borrow one for? No, it's just, he doesn't care. I offered to pay them just to borrow them. But anyway, I have the opportunity to grab some, and I'm desperate to get it. I had like every bill in the world come due like a week and a half ago. But they take PayPal, and I need PayPal to buy these. I need PayPal to buy these magnets. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for indulging me in making this video. This is the incredible importance of point source. Everything that is important as far as discoveries to be made will be based upon point source emission of field coherency of various types, specifically magnetism and dielectricity. And recently, just discovery was made went from coaxial EM emission to scalar EM emissions by passing it around a magnetic field. It's like modern science just discovered this. Like I could have told them that would be the case. You actually strip the magnetic component from an EM transmission. You pass it around a magnetic field, and this turns it into a scalar emission, which has no transverse component. And wow, that's going to actually change the nature of all communications for the future. Anyway, it's the magic of point source. There actually is, this is not my opinion, this is hardcore empirical fact. There actually is one thing on this earth where you can actually say pyramid power, and you're not talking about hippie nonsense, BS, new age crap. Literally, because the shape of that magnet acts the same way like a fireman's hose does, and actually bringing that water to a point where you have tremendous pressure. Like some of the steel cutting tools, they actually use grit, of course, along with the water, but the water power is so incredibly high that they actually cut through. What is it? It cut up to 2 inches of sheet steel. Some of the Jaws of Life stuff now has gone to high-powered water. Instead of like Jaws cutting through a car, what they use is this special high-pressure pump and this tiny nozzle that's surrounded so you don't actually cut yourself. It'll just slice the door, just like shoop, slice the door right off your car using pressurized water. Absolutely fascinating. That's also why they made it for firemen, because the firemen have access to all that water at the fire hydrant. So instead of hooking up the hose to put out the fire, they can actually hook up the hose that feeds this high pressure. I forget what the device is called, but anyway, that's my request. I'm sorry this video was long-winded. Happy holidays, and thank you so much. The only thing I care about is wisdom. I'm not trying to get rich or, you know, I do need these magnets, and I've been like, you know, doing this number all day long. It's like I finally found them, and I have absolutely no money. I've got absolutely no money in PayPal. True story. I'll screen grab it for you if you don't believe me. Thank you, and thank you for watching. Bye.